It's officially springtime, yay for De Niro in the sunshine making friends. Also in the sunshine I get dragged around this place and then we ask two very important questions. Who is Edinburgh's Bobby and what on earth is that? This week we're starting off on the banks of the River Mersey. We're at Fletcher Moss Park, which is one of those nice parks donated by a very rich person who used to once own all of this, at which point we probably wouldn't have been allowed into it. We are here, as you might expect, for parkrun. Yay! Saturday morning means parkrun. And in England, Saturday morning means parkrun with an earlier start. It's 9 o'clock and we are here ready to go with about 500 of our closest friends. After last week's masterclass of sticking his nose where it really shouldn't go, we've left De Niro back in the van. So we're going to do parkrun without him, but don't worry, he'll be coming down here for a wee sniff about later on. This is one of the biggest parkruns we've done recently actually. There was, as I said, about 500 people here, all starting off quite full of beans and full of joy and ending up looking a little bit like this. It was, for the first time this year, quite warm. And after a park run that seemed to have much more up than we ever got back in down, it was time to wander back up past this rather nice church to the van, collect De Niro and take him for a wee explore, because you all know he does love a wee explore and a wee sniff around. And back at the van we'll take the dog for a quick walk around the park that we were running round. I'd show you him just now but we'd have to edit it out. He's been in the van for an hour so he's marking his territory. And it's an unfortunate thing about greyhounds that they tend to mark their territory all down their own legs. Is that you? Always meeting a friend. Oh, the friend's not interested. Bounce, bounce, bounce. He's got a flappy ear and waggy tail thing going on. I think he's quite happy to be out in the sunshine. It's not awfully warm, but it's quite nice and sunny. And Bex is modelling the spring collection, which looks a bit like the winter collection, but the leggings are about 2 or 3 inches shorter. Interesting story about this park, Fletcher Moss Park, is it's actually floodplain. It's actually a big basin that they use to store water if the River Mersey overflows, which is why it's all a bit, ick. De Niro is not interested in sticks. Here's a dog with a very ambitious stick. It's longer than you. No, had enough of carrying that. No, he's given up on his stick and he's now, no. De Niro has got a minor attack of the zoomies. Definitely not letting him off the lead here. There's too many people about. And also, given his current state of giddiness, I'm not entirely sure he'd come back. This is so... Oh, De Niro, we'll have to edit this bit out. I don't know where he keeps it all. It's like... Yeah, we've edited out most of them, but it's just like, where does he keep it all? He must have tanks somewhere. De Niro has got, oh no, it's stopped. He had the perfect symmetrical ear flap going there. Now we're slightly out of sequence. Oh, there, and folded back, and come on De Niro, flap flap. Now, one ear is refusing. Oh, not again, stop it. Lots and lots of... Oh, you're scary. My stick, my stick. Mom, get my stick. De Niro, you don't like sticks.
Or not.
This is the Poplar Avenue. Can you guess why? I'm guessing because it is poplars. I don't think I knew what a poplar was, but I do now. It's a big spindly tree. Yeah, I bet they're really nice when they're actually green. It's quite a pretty place. I like this park. Yeah, it's funny. A couple of hours ago there were like 500 or 600 people here, and now there's no sign that parkrun ever happened. That's one of the good things about it. You come along, there's nothing, lots of people show up, and then an hour later there's nothing again. And an interesting thing I have learnt about Fletcher Moss Park is it's called that because it was all owned by a guy called, oh go on, guess. His name was Fletcher Moss and he was an alderman and philanthropist and all round good egg, I believe. Well, that's what they say on the signs, but they'd hardly put, this was given to us by Fletcher Moss. He was a bit of a git. And it's time to load the dog into the van without getting a face full of that, which I've done before when I've been trying to film this process. De Niro! Launch! Goodbye! And with the dog safely back in the van and parkrun done, it's time to head up and find the charity shops. Yay! This is the gateway to a thing called the Parsonage that looks quite impressive. We'll have a look at that maybe on the way back down the hill. Now, I have been told on pain of getting glowered at not to make any crude jokes about the name of this old pub, but if you ever want to find it, it's just down the road from Beaver Road Junior School. I'm not even making that up. Neither of us have been to this area before and it's very grand. Lots and lots of really big big and expensive looking houses, obviously where mill owners and people like that must have lived back in the day. There's also the usual scattering of really, really nice churches. You come to these villages, well, it's now part of a city, but it's still a village technically, and some of the buildings are just amazing. Not quite sure what all those people over there are queuing for, a wee delicatessen or a coffee shop or something maybe, obviously quite a popular one. We don't have time to go and stand in queues because we're going to go and look in charity shops, and Google Maps said they were all up this wee road. So this is our first stop. This is cancer research. And we got off to quite a good start, because in the well-stocked cancer research shop they had the usual array of bits and pieces, but also this rather nice Lego set. A little bit too expensive, so left that one there. Bex headed straight, of course, to the books and found a book that reminded us of one of our next destinations. Who wants a book on Skye? There you are, that's the back of it. Bex, turn it around, there we go. Skye by W.A. Boucher. But obviously when they took the cover photo, the Highland cattle were having the day off. So out of cancer research, and it's a long walk to the next charity shop. It's miles. Oh no, there it is there. That is Sue Ryder. So let's go into Sue Ryder for a wee look. But before I went in, checking out the window, it looks like if you're fans of those British icons, the Beatles, or I suppose icons, the Spice Girls, then this is definitely the place to come. Lots and lots of bits for sale in here. And my favourite that I saw straight away was this. I'm not nuts about football at all, as you'll find out a wee bit later in this episode, but he's quite cute. I did see this, which was £1, a whole £1 for a book. Deadpool and Marvel stuff, I think, sells quite well. So we had that. We bought that for the whole princely sum of £1. So that was our first buy. I quite like this t-shirt, but I got distracted by something really quite impressive that Bex had found.
Cordon bleu box flares. Somebody's collected these over the years. Look. Number 14. It went up 25 pence between 14 and 15.
And hands up anyone that collects thimbles. Almost sold out here because they're a bargain for £1. We were quite glad that we'd left the van down beside the park, because the car parking in Didsbury is quite frankly terrifying. There's lots of people here that you look at them and think you should not be driving. But anyway, let's continue our little charity shop quest as we go to Oxfam. Now Oxfam charity shops are usually, to be fair, quite expensive, so not holding out much hope of anything really exciting in this one. I did think Bex might have wanted this water bottle for our gym class, but no, and I thought she might have liked this. Hello, adorable, but no, that was a no as well. And then we found the array of somebody's entire collection of Beanie Babies in the corner. So I was quite sad to see this. That was once somebody's pride and joy. Yep, even that.
He's quite cute, look, wee ratty rat. You like rats? He's got nice eyes, sparkly ears. Ratty rat?
No, thank you. Ratty rat and
Chipmunk?
Cherry Chipmunk.
Is it chipmunk? Is it quite nice?
Willy, whatever the hell that is.
If anybody wants a print of Edinburgh's Bobby, I have no idea who Edinburgh's Bobby is. Looks a bit like Greyfriars Bobby, but there's one for sale in here. You can also have this rather creepy looking doll, which has had a skull put in front of it just for added creepy effect.
Look. Scottish Scenes drinking set, but we're missing one.
I wonder where we're missing. Probably Glasgow. Nobody minds if you're missing Glasgow.
Each portraying in full colour a typical Scottish scene.
There's a typical wee hoose. There's a typical, Lovely.
This is charity shopping motherload. There is cat protection and mind, and over on this side we have got Barnados. So far we haven't done very well at finding things to resell on our eBay shop, and looking at some of the prices in here, I don't think that's about to change anytime soon. To be fair, they did have some really nice stuff. Looking through the menswear and t-shirts, it was all fairly good labels, and I found this, an Under Armour Chatham top that I might have had for me if it wasn't £9. And who would pay £20 for a second-hand pair of trainers? Mind you, if you think that's expensive for second-hand trainers, wait till you see what's coming up a wee bit later.
Is that a pig of happiness?
It's Edward Monckton.
Look, let's get both of this to go with the pig of happiness. We've got a mug called the Pig of Happiness. I give it to Bex when she's needing a bit of Pig of Happiness in her life.
And this must just about take the biscuit for the most expensive thing ever in a charity shop. If you don't want a £100 pair of trainers, you can have a £375 pair. Why did Dizzy and Bex cross the road to get to the charity shops? This was taking your life in your hands, especially as I was trying to film it at the same time. Maybe I should just have crossed the road and watched where I was going. We know from our extensive research on Instagram and YouTube that if you find the right trainers, they can sell really well, but at the moment we've got absolutely no idea what the right trainers are. But some of these did look quite cool. There's some nice Nikes here and they all looked almost brand new. I wonder if they've got anything in my size, like, oh well, let's have a wee look. And in amongst what must have been somebody's entire trainer collection, I found these. Who remembers these? I know from our demographic on this channel, most of you probably remember having audio cassettes. So cool. And the good news is I actually bought myself something in the Cats Protection shop. We'll show you that later on. We'll do a little bit of a wrap up. I wasn't allowed to buy this, so I thought the doggy in the wee trolley was quite cute, but apparently it wasn't. This was another charity shop that had a lot of really cool things, but none of them were even remotely cheap. If you look at things like pop vinyls, which I always hope will become quite collectible one day because I have got a few boxes full of them. If not, they're actually not really worth much. I'm not sure about these Sonic things, but for £12 I'm thinking probably not. Heading up the road, I thought this was the War Memorial, but it's not. This is a memorial to a guy called Dr. J. Milson Rhodes, JP, Justice of the Peace. So there must be a War Memorial around here somewhere. Don't worry, we will go and find it. Oh, there it is. And the last stop on this main road is Manchester Age UK. Now this is a charity shop, but it is a vintage and retro charity shop, which means it's got some really cool stuff in it, but none of it is going to be cheap. But let's go inside and see what we can find. It's always nice to have a rummage round in these places, get an idea of what's actually worth money. And as we suspected, there were some really nice bits and pieces in here. I quite like this leather jacket, and there's lots of other stuff that was quite fashionable and quite classy, which I'm not obviously, but Bex is, and she was looking at this nice tartan thing on the wall, and I, being me, noticed this is Woody Woodpecker. That looks like quite a cool wee book. Even these two ladies hanging about in the window looked classy and sophisticated. And in amongst all the trendy and designer labels, we found this. Royal Mail is possibly the most exclusive label that we've seen yet. And because I know it's what you're all waiting for, I know you are, this is a slightly closer view of the War Memorial. And very nice it is too. Blue skies and sunshine, as always, helping. And behind the War Memorial there was this, which I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was such a really cool looking building. Turns out it's actually the library, and in the corner of the library's wee garden there is this. Now the bee is like been adopted by Manchester as the city's symbol. You see it everywhere. It's like the three-legged thing that you see on the Isle of Man. It is literally everywhere. On the sides of buses, on buildings, on the backs of cars, everywhere. So we'll take a shortcut down the side of the library, and what an amazing building that is, to visit the last charity shop in the village. Well, according to Google Maps anyway. And it looks like we've saved the best for last with the RSPCA shop, where you can get everything from Baby Yoda, that is Grogu from the Mandalorian TV programme, or if that's not your thing, you can indulge in Pooh Invents a New Game. Grogu wasn't the only Star Wars memorabilia in this shop. These little figurines are quite smart as well. I did really quite like them. I didn't buy this, but it made me chuckle. Book of York, the one and only, volume 2. How can it be the one and only? And that is the charity shops plus Didsbury done. In summary, some really nice bits and pieces, but nothing that you'd call a bargain. Anyway, we're heading back to the van now, but first of all, as promised, we're going to stop off in the parsonage for a wee look round. This is another really pretty little open space. I've said before it was donated by a guy called Fletcher Moss, and now it is looked after by volunteers when they do a grand job because it looks amazing. So we still have no real idea who Fletcher Moss was, but hey Fletcher, thanks very much for your park. It's really nice. And as you know, we're all suckers for these wood carvings. There's that bee emblem again. It is quite strange, as you've just seen. We are in Manchester, but it's really pretty. It's all, there's lots of green spaces here, and you just saw the street we were down when we went into Didsbury, and that was lovely. Lots of really nice buildings. Must have been a very affluent place back in the day. Agriculture possibly, or maybe just the people that actually made money from the Mersey, where they all lived in big posh houses, while the poor people lived somewhere else. I was wondering what that said. It's a milestone, 6 miles to Wilmslow. That was nice. So it's time to take De Niro for another quick walk before we head off, and I am taking Bexy's boy to a place he really wants to go to, and it's not going to be the high point of the trip. And in case you're wondering, I did think Bex was going to buy those trainers for 300 whatever it was pounds, but she didn't. They were the wrong size. She did want them, but they were just the wrong size, unfortunately.
So I did, yeah. I love £300 shoes, me.
Oh yeah, you can tell we're both really into our £300 shoes. Like our entire combined wardrobe cost us £300. But I suppose it does beg the question, what sort of person gives away £300 trainers? I mean, If I'd spent £300 on trainers, I'd be wanting my money's worth out of them. Although I did buy a pair of trainers. They weren't £300 or £200 or £100 or £50. They were 10. But they are brand new and tagged and they fitted, so that's all my criteria. Cheap and the right size.
Get them on eBay.
Oh yes. So I promised you a little look at the things we bought in the charity shop, and I found out I'm actually not very good at buying things to sell because, well, you'll see why in a second. First up, it's these Funko Pop Star Wars things. They were £3 each, and I'm probably going to keep them because I think they are really, really quite cool. Hello, Chewbacca. Next up is this Deadpool book that I'm going to put into your eBay shop after I have read it. Well, actually, it's a comic book, so looked at the pictures rather than read. And you saw these in passing in the Cat's Protection shop. These are those Nike trainers that were £10, and they were £10 or £12, but anyway, they weren't very expensive, and I'm probably going to keep those as well because I do quite a lot of running, as you know, so I get through running shoes at quite a rate, and these ones look pretty good. But this is definitely the find of the week. These are old 1970s, 1980s sort of horror books, Monsters and Vampires and the Encyclopedia of Horror and stuff. I got the 3 of these for £1, and I put them on eBay, and they sold straight away for 19, so that's not a bad profit. So there you are, that is this week's finds. We sold some more stuff on eBay. I might actually start doing a proper weekly update or monthly update if you're interested. If you want to see it, let me know. If not, I won't. And now, who wants to go and look round a football stadium? No, me neither. And the place that Kieran wanted to go as part of his birthday trip was here. This is Old Trafford Stadium, the home of Manchester United. You can do a stadium tour and they've got a museum. Yay. It didn't actually film very much because I couldn't find anything that looked particularly interesting. It's not really my thing. I suppose it is slightly different on match day, but walking about a large deserted space like this, it was cold, it was, people were enjoying it and soaking up the ambience, I think, but not me. I was doing Wordle on my phone. The tour guide was quite good fun though. He kept reeling off statistics and facts that I can remember absolutely none of, but I think the main fact he was coming across with is Manchester United are not very good at the moment. Okay, I'm being a bit flippant, but I suppose if you are a Manchester United fan, being in here, which is the home team's changing rooms, must be quite special. This is where all the stars come before they go out and get, beaten most weeks, I think. The biggest problem that I faced was trying to fight the urge to sort all these shirts into numerical order. I mean, this is just chaos. Why can't they do it properly? The cringiest bit was that you got to line up in 2 rows as if you're 2 opposing football teams and walk down the tunnel. That was excruciating. It was quite a nice place, I suppose. As I said before, if you're into it, it'd be really interesting. If you're not, it's an area of life that you're never getting back. But at least that was the day done. Time to head back to the hotel and relax. None of these are the correct room, but De Niro doesn't care. He'll try to get into any of them basically. He doesn't mind. Yeah, good boy. That's wrong actually. I thought you were going to be really impressive there and go for the right room, but you didn't. So this is the shoestring approach to the hotels. De Niro's had a run up and down the corridor. Don't tell anyone, we'll get a complaint. And Bex has been across to Tesco's. That's obviously because I've got wine, but she's healthy, so that cup does not absolutely water. A cup of water, a cup of quite pink water. I think you'll find, but it's still water.
Cheers.
Cheers.